Let the nightmare begin!
Ending point deactivated.
Get foe! My boom is
cannot
done.
break!
Power cells lost.
She's cast!
Welcome to Bronzedad Plays, where today we're taking a look at Bleeding Edge, an action combat competitive multiplayer game from Ninja Theory. On this channel, we like to evaluate games in 3 categories: limited time, limited skill, and limited resources. As a dad, thinking about these things is important to me when deciding what game I want to invest in. So, how does Bleeding Edge stack up? Is it the right fit for a busy lifestyle? And can you make progress as a low-skill player? First, let's talk to those of you with limited time. Bleeding Edge is a fast-paced, action-heavy game. You start the game up, enter the queue, and load right in. It's very similar to how Quick Play launched in Overwatch. There's very little delay, and you're expected to be hopping into the action right away. At launch, Bleeding Edge brings all the fighters straight to you. There's no need to grind to unlock them. You can play for as long as you want on anyone you want. Individual matches are typically under 10 minutes and consist of either capturing a point or collecting some power cells. You add up points until you win, and there you go. Fairly simple to understand, but complex in the way you move through the map, take on your enemies, and coordinate as a team. Because the individual matches are fairly short, you can string a lot of them back to back without worrying. Match length, of course, depends on your skill of play. If you're trying to play this game during nap time, you can actually get several matches off. The total length of each match is around 10 minutes or so you can get several in without having to pick up baby. Bleeding Edge keeps you fighting. The maps are fairly small and intimate, and the coordinated play around objectives forces team fights against the enemy. You're expected to continually engage your enemy, and that helps move time along quickly. When you finish your match, you'll see a replay of the very last play of the match. You can flip through some stats, and then hop right back into another game. It's not an autoplay, but the queue doesn't take very long, so you hop right back in. Bleeding Edge is cross-play and cross-save for Windows 10, Steam, and Xbox Game Pass. So therefore, if you want to play a match on one system and then jump to another because the TV's been freed up, you're able to do that. Huge props to Ninja Theory for making that happen. In general, for those with limited time, Bleeding Edge is a fairly recommended game. What about those of you with limited skill? When you first start up Bleeding Edge, you'll be introduced to the game via tutorials. You'll play through a variety of the fighters available to you at launch, and you'll learn a lot of the basic systems. I personally played through this with keyboard and mouse and the controller, and I found the controller to be more comfortable and native to the game. Bleeding Edge does tell you this up front, but I wanted to experience both, and you're more than welcome to replay the tutorials at any time. There's also an advanced tutorial that walks you through things like targeting and buffs, and the ping system, which is native to the game. On the controller, it's as simple as hitting the D-pad plus another button. On the keyboard, you can customize your keybinds, but initially it's holding down Alt and then hitting a button in the home row. It can be a little awkward. Bleeding Edge also offers you a dojo where you can enter in and experiment with any of the fighters. You can place enemies in and program their behavior so you can get used to how much damage you do or reacting to their attacks. Bleeding Edge is also sponsored fighter tutorials published by Eric's here on YouTube. Check them out if you get a chance. The fighter selection window clearly marks which fighters are recommended for newer players, as well as those who should be held for more advanced players. There's a wide variety of skills within the fighters, as well as a wide variety of play styles between them. You can expect that certain fighters will be better up close, and others want to keep their distance. Some fighters want to be sneaky and move in and out, while others want the attention. That's a very good thing to see this much variety in a game. The skill floor and ceiling are variable by fighter. Even simple fighters, like Zero Cool, who lays back and heals people, can be made a little more complex in the right hands. On the tank side, you've got someone who specializes in lifesteal, another who simply wants to be a brute force monster, and then yet another who mitigates damage consistently. It's really advisable to learn a variety of fighters in Bleeding Edge. Every team is best served via a standard team comp. At least one tank, at least one damage, and at least one healer. You can get away with your 4th player playing any of the 3 roles, but I would recommend 2 damage or 2 healer. It cannot be understated how powerful the healers are in this game, but it also can't be understated how much the DPS can absolutely demolish healers. Players in the game seem to respond to holding a proper team comp fairly well. In games like Overwatch, when you play the quick play, you'll find that players just want to play their hero. But here, everyone seems to be playing the objective fairly well. Maybe it's that the player base is a little smaller and focused, or maybe it's that I play at 4 in the morning. Who knows? When matching with other players, Bleeding Edge seems to favor random teams. One match you can go from having a team that uses the ping system at every opportunity and stays together, to the next where, well, you're not quite sure what they're doing. I hope to see some hidden MMR or ELO system here, but I'm not sure one is implemented in the current state. While you're learning in the dojo or fighting on the map, Bleeding Edge pumps bassy, high energy music into your ears. The entire world is covered in this punk post-apocalypse art. I really enjoy it. While you're staring at that environment, don't forget about the environmental play. There's electricity, fire, verticality, or trains that will run you over. Bleeding Edge likes you to pay attention and keep moving at all times. There are jump pads all over the map, and one that can be summoned by a fighter. Use these to find your way over walls, to get a competitive advantage, or a sneaky steal of a capture point. If you enjoy the art style and the music style, you'll generally enjoy the game. Its thematics come across very cleanly. If you don't like what you're hearing or seeing, the gameplay loop may not be enough for you to overcome the general theme. So for most people of limited skill, this game could be recommended. What about those of you who are challenged for resources? Great news! Bleeding Edge is currently free for those of you with Xbox Game Pass. If you don't have Game Pass, it's $30 on the Steam Store, Windows 10, or Xbox. There's currently no monetization present in the game, and there's none that's been announced. However, some unlocks will take some time to gather. The in-game currency development can be a little cheap if you're not winning awards each game. Ninja Theory has also been running special events to get unlocks, via the Punk Pack by playing within the first week, or the Sea of Thieves board for just playing before April 7th. I hope to see more of these as the game continues to provide you more things to do. However, there's no real long-term progression in Bleeding Edge. You can continue to play matches again and again and again, and you can continue to unlock mods or skins or boards for your character. But those are all cosmetic. Yes, mods do affect your character, but ultimately you can get away with the standard mods you're given. Ninja Theory did a great job trying to keep the game balanced, so therefore you have all the fighters available to you and they're all functional from the beginning. There's not really ever a power creep because you do start with some mods. You're simply deciding which mod you want to lose to replace with a different strength. Therefore, this comes down to gathering currency and unlocking cosmetics. And for some people, that's more than enough because they enjoy the gameplay loop. But for others who maybe want to see how they can place competitively, who maybe want to see their account level up and unlock cosmetics for their account rather than just for their fighters, it's not here at the moment. There's also no alternate game modes like an arcade. The watch zone is fantastic and lets you see matches that are close to finishing, so that way you can learn from other people playing games. But that's not playing yourself. Skins at the moment are very expensive, being 2,000 or more currency in the game, when winning a match might only get you 50. But they're just basic recolors. There's nothing really exciting or something that's going to get you motivated to spend those coins. So in general, for those with limited resources, if you have Game Pass, it's recommended. But if you don't, it's hard to justify the $30 cost at the current state. There could be lots more planned in the future, and certainly that recommendation could change, but at the moment, hard to recommend for $30. So what are my final thoughts? Well, this is a fun game. It's hard to complain about free if you have the Game Pass. Personally, I really enjoy the cool art style and the action-heavy music. It keeps me immersed in the game and makes me keep playing. The characters are unique. Yes, you may have seen some things like this before in Rage 2, or your other punk apocalyptic games, but they still feel special in their own way. What's disappointing is that there really hasn't been any marketing for Bleeding Edge. Outside of Twitter or the Xbox brand, you really don't see any presence of this game. Developers have been fairly silent as well. On their own forums, they've only posted 19 times in 3 months, and some of those are simply to share some artwork or canned messages. The game is coming soon to xCloud, so you can stream from your Xbox to your mobile device, and that will certainly open up some options for some players. But there's no roadmap for future content, and that's sorely needed when the player base is looking for a reason to stay. Given the previous ratings, I'd say Bleeding Edge is mixed recommendation for most players. Thanks for joining me here on Bronze Dad Plays. Make sure to check out my channel for more reviews, lists, and gameplay. But for now, if you like this content, please give us a like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Have an idea for our next video? Shout it out in the comments, and I'll be sure to respond. Till next time, see ya.